Hello and welcome to the Raw Fork podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Marina Buksov, and I'm a functional medicine pharmacist in New York, as well as an integrative health coach and clinical herbalist. I'm pleased to go into season 3 of this podcast and continue to bring on other holistic minded pharmacists, as well as healthcare professionals to the show. I'm constantly inspired by my guests and their stories and love sharing their points of view with you all. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Raw Fork podcast. Today, I'm excited to introduce to you a very special guest. She's so multi-talented. I can't wait for you guys to meet her. Her name is Dr. Mansi Shah. She is a functional and integrative pharmacist. She is a financial planner and a serial entrepreneur. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for such a great introduction, Marina. I really appreciate you bringing me on the episode and interviewing with me today. I feel honored. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I'm so excited and curious to see all the steps that happened along your journey for you to delve into all of these topics. So I'd love for you to just give us an idea of where you grew up and what happened first, why you chose pharmacy and all the rest.
Yeah, definitely. So let's be honest, we all get into healthcare because we have a desire to serve, right? That's what I realized. We all want to serve as human beings, but some have more desires than others. So basically, my route to pharmacy was kind of planned, but then getting out of the pharmacy was not planned. So that's what happened. I grew up in a very holistic environment. My grandfather was he was an agriculture officer and a retired yogi and an acupuncturist. My aunts are Ayurvedic doctors, and like the whole environment of the house was around nutrition. And then I have a godfather who got really sick. So knowing his journey, I wanted to be in healthcare so I could save other people's godfathers, because my godfather means so much to me and losing him was a big loss. So I wanted to be where I could be in a place where I can actually save lives. So that's how I actually started gearing towards pharmacy, because honestly, Western medicine has taken over so much that we don't realize that the real medicine is food and lifestyle. And at that time, I didn't know anything. So growing up, I really thought that Western medicine is the way to actually help people save lives. And that was one of the biggest reasons I chose pharmacy. And undergrad was in India. So I had a very specialized undergrad. It's basically bachelor's in pharmaceutical sciences. That's what I did. And then when I came here, I started applying to schools who accepted my credits for undergrad. And I had some bridge that I had to fill for my prerequisites. And then I got into a PharmD program here after applying to a few schools.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing. So what age did you move to the US and where did you reside, and where did you go to pharmacy school, you said?
I went to pharmacy school in Henderson, Nevada, Roseman University of Health Sciences. It used to be University of Southern Nevada before they changed the name. So basically, I came here in 2006, 2007, somewhere between that. And at that time, the economy was really booming and pharmacy was the field to go to. So because my undergrad was in pharmaceutical sciences, I already had a solid foundation in pharmacy. And I didn't really look any further. Like, I didn't want to research anything. I was just straight up. I was like, okay, I'm going to get my PharmD. So I started applying. And I was in Chicago, which is a suburb there. And I was like, I don't think I'm meant for Midwest. So I started kind of flying all around the country to find out my place I wanted to settle at. So I went to for interviews. I went to different states like Massachusetts. I went to California, Florida, and then I finally found out that the closest I can get to California was Nevada, because got waitlisted here in California because
Oh,
of my
wow.
credits from outside. Like, you know, when you have foreign credits, they don't really accept you right away. They
Yeah.
accept people from here. So but I said, fair enough. Nevada's next to California, and I sure did make my way here little by little. So I started picking my clinical rotations here in California, and then I started making my way up here. I got my first job in Temecula, the wine country that we have here next to San Diego.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's quite a journey, you know, like coming from a completely different country and going for interviews on your own, renting car, and like waking up and trying to figure out with GPS. And I come like, you know, I was like, this is an experience, but it really molds you who you are. Like, I really feel that my personal journey has really molded me into the person that I am. And I'm right now using that to empower others, because everybody has challenges, and I've found myself a little bit more bolder than other people, and I just want to give that courage to other people. That's my goal, you know, from my journey, personal journey.
Yeah, I was just going to comment on that. The fact that you grew up in another country and pretty much as an adult, you came to a totally new country. You know the language beautifully, you speak perfectly. You know, you were able to figure out how to apply and travel all through all these states that many people who live here and grew up here didn't even get a chance to visit as many states. And California, you know, it is notoriously difficult to get into pharmacy there. They don't even accept transfers from other states. So, you know, they
That's
are
right.
really a tough cookie.
They are. It's very difficult for everybody, starting from law to healthcare to any other field that you want to get into. But I somehow cracked it. I cracked it. I think it's your inner desire. It has to be so strong that no matter what happens, you have to know how to handle that adversity in a positive way. And that's what the outlook I've always had as a little girl, like to handle adversities in a very positive way. And that's what brought me here.
Yeah.
So quite a journey, honestly, I've had, because I made my way here to Temecula, and then in our culture, our parents actually pick our life partners. So one of my high school friends, he asked me out for marriage, and I said, "Well, I live I live in America. You live in India, right? So why don't you go through my parents?" And my parents really liked him. So I moved to India after my first year of practicing as a pharmacist.
Wow.
And then I went back to my roots where I came from. And that opened up a lot of things for me. Now I'm divorced, but that didn't bring me down, because I took that as a positive experience to build myself to what I am today. And I mean, it was mutual. It's just, it didn't work out because we have huge differences, right? Like moving back to India was a hard enough of a challenge, and then moving back to Indian culture was even harder. But over there, I started my journey as a functional pharmacist. So I had this beautiful sanctuary. It's like a yoga studio with a training center, like for circuit training and workouts and counseling. And we did fertility yoga and aerial yoga. And I had my whole counseling service as a functional pharmacist there. That's where I actually started my practice.
Wow. Amazing. So yeah, you didn't really let adversity defeat you. You know what you were saying before, most people, they tend to back out of challenges and not even face them. So they're so afraid of failure that they'd rather not even, you know, take the challenge. But it's actually more scary, like the fear is more scary than the actual challenge. So once you have the experience of overcoming challenges, it becomes easier and easier to tackle the next one, because you have that confidence that I was able to handle this, and that. It did not defeat me, so I can take on bigger and better things.
Yes, absolutely. So that project that I had put in place, so it was a passion project. I did it from scratch. I had a business partner with me, but it was more of my vision, and she was a very yoga enthusiast, and she is very big in yoga. So she helped me with that section. I learned a lot from her through the area yoga and fertility yoga that we offered. So it kind of really molded me as an entrepreneur because everything I had to do from scratch, like coming up with recipes for the organic food cafe, building the menu, training the chef, training the staff, putting the LLC together, designing the place. So it's like going to school. Like rather than going to MBA, it was 100,000 that I lost. I say it's $1 million lesson that I've learned.
Yeah.
Rather than losing that 100,000. So it was quite an experience, and that's what really made me bold. And when I came back after shutting that place, I knew right away that stepping back into a retail pharmacy was just a temporary uh, coming back on my feet type of a process, where I was already building everything on the side. Just after 6 months of starting as a retail pharmacist, I started building my real estate company and my trading business. And I'm a Forex trader, which is a foreign exchange trading platform, which we use for trading currencies. And I started learning all of that. Like in the morning, I would go to school for learning Forex. So the trading starts around 3, 4 in the morning, because we are in the London and the Asia market in those early hours before the New York market opens. And then I would go to work at 12, come back, do a 9 hour shift, and then come back and then get up again, go at 3. So that's how I started learning trading. And then on the days I'm not learning trading, I would put up my hours towards real estate. So I'll do meetings and walkthroughs, and I was flipping some homes and putting my energy towards building some wealth so I could put that money towards trading. So much planning in 2, 3 years. Now where I am in life is because of all the seeds I had planted, in last 2, 3 years.
Wow. So after you decided to close the business in India, um, first of all, why did you decide to close? Is it because you wanted to get back to the States?
Yeah, my marriage wasn't working out, and then the business was also in the wrong place. Like imagine opening a high-end preventative medicine place in a small town in
Hmm.
India. It would be the same if we do the same here in small town, take a New York concept to a small town city in southern states. So I had to really evaluate if this is even worth spending more money than what I've already spent. So it was a very business decision. And then at that time, I was on a very rocky phase in my marriage, and I was wanting to really come back to States to start living my life again differently.
Yeah,
So it was a business decision and a personal decision at the same time.
yeah, that
It
makes
was tough.
sense. Yeah, it sounds very challenging, but again,
Like you see the smile on my face right now, but I know how I went through those phases. And my parents were not even in a position to help me out at that time because they had their own problems that they were going through. So usually my parents helped me out in situations like this financially, but they couldn't even do that because they didn't have anything to help me out with. So I came with $500 back in my account and took up a job. Some friends helped me out with crashing their couches. And this is after a lifestyle that I had like for 4 or 5 years in India that I lived. I was married to a very, very rich guy. So we had like a home staff of 5, 7 people and a huge villa, like over $2 million in India.
wow.
So yeah, I was like, I could have survived in that marriage because it was picking between sometimes letting self-esteem go or respect go versus like living in that fancy lifestyle, or what do I want to do, want to rise above that and be bold and just walk away from everything and build something again. That was the hardest part, you know So once you get used to all that, it's hard because we all want that. Let's be honest. We all want a good lifestyle. We all want peace of mind. Right? We all want financial security. So if I stayed in that marriage, I could have survived for the rest of my life without working even for a day. So I chose the other route because of self-respect.
Wow.
Just didn't feel valued in my
Yeah.
marriage.
Wow. I have goosebumps listening to your story.
I'm glad. Like, that's what I want. I want women to have faith in themselves. I want them to believe in themselves more than anybody else believes in them. Because if I can do it, I'm the same, right? I'm the common person doing uncommon. And that's what we all have inside us. And it's just sometimes it gets buried, deep down inside because of fears and social pressure and family pressure and kids. And there is a lot of adversities. Some have more than others, let's be honest. Like, I didn't have kids, so that really helped. But we've seen other women with kids do it too, right? I'm not the only person who's done it the way I've done it. So just want to empower, like, I want to share. That's the goal.
Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing your personal story, and I feel so inspired listening to you. And I just wonder, how much self work or how much other guidance or faith or belief in yourself you had in order to make these decisions. Because, like you were saying, it can't have been easy to choose a very risky route and having like this passion and this idea, rather staying safe and knowing that you will never have to take any risks and like you'll be fine.
Right. That's the thing. That's what I had to really pick because my husband is a great guy. He has his flaws. We all have flaws, right? But those flaws, I didn't know if I really wanted to live with, and some have a hard stop on some things than other people. So he had his own challenges, and I just felt like he wasn't growing like I was ready to grow. Like, he wasn't able to put in the effort that he should have been. And that that is the hardest thing. Like, we see so many marriages like that where one person is growing, other person's not, and a lot of people actually make it through still. So I was like, am I making a right decision here? Because coming back to States and relying on a job again is so difficult. Because fair enough, I did all that and I actually got fired after 2 years. So
Wow.
yeah, I was working off the clock, and in California, it's not allowed to work off the clock even for a minute. Some states are more lenient than others because it depends on if you're a non-exempt or exempt employee. So I was manager at CBS, and things didn't go as planned, and they had to let me go. It's a responsibility for them to actually keep me if I'm working off the clock. But at the same time, these big chains, they don't even give you help that you need. So all I was doing was cleaning up. I wasn't even doing any clinical work or anything that could risk patients. But you never know when that time would come. So it was a tough battle for them to keep me or not. But I'm not the only one who does that, right? We don't want to take any names, but I know several pharmacists in my own district that do it every day. They probably do it still, but it's just a matter of getting caught.
Wow.
So it's very difficult to keep that fine line between keeping your work balance and personal life balance and getting all the work done both places. That's the tough part as a pharmacist. I feel that pharmacists are not valued enough for all the hard work that they put in for corporations, doctors, patients, insurance. We're the bridging gap between all of these, and we don't get enough recognition. That's how I feel.
Absolutely. We have such a huge workload and we don't have either the authority, autonomy, recognition, professional respect, or compensation for any of these things. And, you know, um, for all of our responsibility, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of education, continuing education, but most patients also don't realize how much we have on our plates. And, other health professionals also don't know that. They think it's just counting pills and putting it into a bottle, but there's so much they don't see behind the scenes.
Exactly. And that's where I felt that there is a huge disconnect where all these passionate people who are becoming pharmacists and then they are getting crushed all over, like they're getting walked all over, their soul is being crushed because it's become like a numbers game, it's become a volume game, and that's not what we go to school for. Like when we're in school, it's all about like doing the good for our patient, right? Like when I remember my rotation was infectious disease, where we actually go through so many clinical data and evaluations and a plan where we can actually save the patient from resistant bacterial infection. So things like that you don't really get to do after you really graduate unless you have a clinical pharmacist status. So that's where a lot of disconnect is. And honestly, like how many pharmacists can become clinical pharmacists? That's
Yeah.
If you had to put a real number on that, it's very
Yeah.
few thousand out of like millions of people who can actually get a position like that. That it's just not available, it's just not for everyone, it's not available, the spots are not there. So that's where I felt that as a retail pharmacist there's nothing you can do other than just making your company more richer by the hour, where they pay you peanuts. The new wages for pharmacists is mind blowing. Like you would I would wonder why I even went to pharmacy school. With the new wages, they're offering like peanuts. I don't even want to say the numbers because
Yeah.
you'd have to cut it out.
I feel like we've been, the requirements, the school requirements, the rotation requirements have been higher and higher and more rigorous. But at the same time, and also like the load on our plate, even in retail with immunizations, documentation, all of these extra things that other pharmacists before us didn't have to do. Now we have to put all of that volume into one day, fit that all into one day, not work off the clock, and then not make any mistakes, and then have a pay cut on top of all of that. So that's
Right.
a lot for a person to handle.
Right, and they're forgetting that pharmacists have a personal life that they would have outside of work. You're so exhausted from working that when you come home you have no energy. The stress has taken over your body, so you have aches and pains everywhere. And because of your lifestyle, you almost have a leaky gut because you're under stress. Your stomach is always having knots and growling because of all the things you get bombarded with. And then you're not probably even eating well when you're at the job. Because I remember not even wanting to go for a bathroom break. So I would hold my bladder for hours without even like thinking about going to the bathroom because I can't afford to go to the bathroom. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it is really crazy. It's so tough. And I think my number one, um, I don't know, issue or concern or dislike of pharmacy is knowing there's a better way for patient care, but not being able to implement it. So
Yes.
that's like my number one thing that pisses me off and that makes me want to really do something outside of pharmacy, because pharmacy right now just doesn't allow us to get in there and become a provider for our patients.
That's so true. And that's what I'm trying to do with my current endeavor that I am practicing. And I have clients now. Of course, I don't have very many clients, but I have few clients and I can actually change their life the way I want to change it. I don't have to give them pills for that.
Yeah, same here. That's really awesome. So I really like that you had this long-term game, even, making this hard decision, leaving India, leaving what the known world and the comfort of your home and, you know, all that money behind, and then starting a new venture without much financial assets at that point, but you already knew that this is, you know, what you want to focus. You want to ensure financial stability for yourself in the future, and you're not just going to be relying on income from a job. You're also going to be planting those seeds, like you were mentioning. So I really, you know, applaud you for thinking ahead, and also, you know, you have 24 hours in a day. You're one woman, but you were able to make that work for you and accomplish the studying and the experience that you wanted to get to where you are today. So can you tell us, you know, how did you do that? How did you fit all of that in your day? And what other things besides trading and real estate did you do? And what do you do now today?
Yes, absolutely. So when I came back, I knew, right, that right away I have to start building something because something happened. Like universe is always giving you signs, and I feel that a lot of people ignore them. So I took up on that sign. So first thing happened was the supervisor that hired me, she got replaced like for good because of budget cut. So they let her go. My company let her go completely. And she's been with the company for 14 years. So I said,
Wow.
what am I? She has performed for 14 years. And I've been with CVS on and off. And it's been a great company and great place to be. But I knew that it's a numbers game and I will be replaced. So first thing I did was I enrolled myself in real estate school. So the real estate school that I got enrolled is like an MBA in real estate. So we learn from fix and flip. We learned from there to commercial real estate. So everything that comes in between that. So wholesaling, fixing and flipping, syndication, and then commercial real estate, multifamily units, anything that has to do with real estate, I started learning. In that process, I started learning how to negotiate, how to pitch, how to raise money. Like we have a whole money academy, and that really helped me how to present myself to investors. I would create this creditability packets for presentations to my investors and real estate agents, and building teams, and that really taught me a lot. And then from there, I picked up one area of real estate, which is wholesaling. So wholesaling is nothing but you negotiating the deal for an investor and then flipping the contract. And I didn't even know about this until I went to school for it. So I started wholesaling. I recently wholesaled one building in Chicago that was in end of February. But since COVID, things have been slowed down. So there's nobody really selling or buying that much right now. So we need volume for wholesaling. But just that wholesaling business is what I'm focusing on with real estate. It's like a passive income club for investors where my company actually provides good multifamily units to investors, and they just get like a direct deposit every month. Everything else, the headache of maintaining the property and all the paperwork is handled by my company. So I have a good network and good setup in Chicago. That's why I'm in that Midwest market for that. So that was through networking and really knowing what these numbers look like, because there's so many numbers you have to look at in commercial real estate, which multifamily unit is a part of that. And because knowing everything helped me find partners who would want to work with me, and then finding investors on the other side who I can bring to the company. So that was what I did, and that was one business I do. The second one I did after that was learning trading. So trading is something that takes time to build. And because I was so dedicated and I have good memory, like all pharmacists do, I started memorizing things where I can actually go through a currency pair and start placing trades where I can do at least about 5 to 10 pips a week, which is very, very bare minimum. But wanting to be able to do that can help me actually replace my W-2 incomes. Oh, wow. So yeah, So that with real estate can really help combine to have a cash flow where I can slowly build a bigger income on the side eventually. So I wanted to put my hands into things that is going to be bigger than what I'm doing in my 9 to 5, right? So that's what I was doing: real estate, trading, and then also functional pharmacist. I'm very passionate about that. And remember you said that one thing that really bothers you is knowing that there is better way to help your patient.
Exactly.
And then that bridging the gap was one of the things that you couldn't do. So that was my passion of becoming a functional pharmacist. So what I did was I got a holistic nutrition course done as an add-on to my PharmD that I have. And then I already had a lot of experience with functional pharmacy. So what I did was I created a program, which is a functional integrative wellness network type of a program where we actually offer other practitioners, regular doctors like MDs, DOs, like chiropractors, anybody who wants to integrate functional aspect of their practice. There's a program that we implement in their practice. And this program gives you financial freedom because doctors are already seeing patients. They want to walk away from CPT codes and ICD-10 codes, right? And functional medicine does not need all that. So we have entire implementation program as a group with me and my other business partners. And that helps you build passive incomes through those practices that you built. And the doctors also get to build passive incomes of their own. So the practitioners have that leeway and a little side income from that, and they can build that up. So during COVID, all the doctors who were doing that business, they actually didn't need to see their patients because they were actually making money on site through that business.
Wow, that sounds really interesting.
It is very interesting.
Does it involve like assessments? Like what exactly
Yes.
does it involve? Diagnostics, implementation, diet, supplements?
Yes, it does. So it's based on therapy. So basically, we do test, therapy, and retest.
Okay.
And this whole process of testing and therapy and retesting is what brings the income.
Okay.
And of course, in the process of doing all this, the major outcome is breakthrough in patient outcomes, because that's what we all want: pharmacists, practitioners, doctors, right? Because honestly, like sometimes I have girlfriends who go to doctors and they are in crazy amount of pain, but their labs look normal. So there are those, one of those memes you see, like their hair is all out, they look all like crazy. They're sitting in the doctor's office and the doctor's looking at the lab and they're like, oh, everything's fine. Your labs look great. Go home.
Yeah.
You know, like, no, they need help. They need help. There is more than labs. There's more than numbers. There's more than diagnosis that we need. You know, it's a mind, body, soul approach that we really need in today's practice.
Wow.
So that's the third business. And then I became licensed financial planner because I truly believe that today's world, the modern world, has a huge financial aspect attached to wellness. How can you expect somebody to become completely stress-free and worry-free if their finances are a hot mess? And a lot of people, they know how to make active incomes, but they don't know how to make their money work for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's such a good point. You know, that stability, that physical stability, the fact that you will have food to eat, a shelter over your head, a roof, all of those are like the number one survival instincts that we have. And that's the number one fear that drives us to take those 9 to 5 jobs and not take any other risks and, you know, just be unhappy or, you know, 50% depressed for most of our lives, but just to have that safety security net.
Right. So now piggyback on that, do you think those depressed feelings, they get stored within ourselves and actually manifest as symptoms?
Absolutely. That's
So if you don't really enjoy what you're doing every day for 8 to 10 hours, some people even have 12-hour shifts. Oh my God, I don't even know how they survive those. But imagine doing what you absolutely despise, working with people you don't enjoy, are always putting you down, have jealousy, like you don't like going to the office or whatever workplace, then what's going to happen to your health? That's my question to everybody.
absolutely. It's a feedback mechanism. If you're happy, it drives your health. And if you are fully healthy, it's going to drive your happiness. But there's all these factors that we have to optimize in order to have the best of both worlds.
Right. And then when I came back, I had no financial stability, very little money, and crashing couches with friends and requesting them to help me out, not financially, but just to stay that way. I can build some credit and pay stubs to get my own place. Right. So that really taught me that if I had better financial education, I wouldn't be in this position today. And that's what I want to hold people's hand at. Like, don't get yourself in that situation. It's not an easy spot to be in. And it takes away a lot from you, like your health, your mental peace, your soul, everything gets dented. And that's what I don't want others to go through.
Yeah, I love that. I love that message. I love that through your story, you just, took charge of your life and you became more and more resilient, even though there were challenges. You just decided to overcome them, and instead of running away from them or letting fear paralyze you. And also that you were able to decide what you wanted and go for it. So a lot of people are also indecisive. They don't know what they want. They don't know what's going to make them happy. But you kind of honed in on what it is that you want. You chose California. You knew that you liked it from all your travels, so that's where you wanted to be. You chose the businesses that you felt were the most successful or more likely to help you gain financial independence. So you zeroed in on all these things and made those decisions be your guiding lights and just follow through on them. So I really love that.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm huge on knowledge, competency, and resilience. So when you have these three things, the power is yours. Like, you want to hold your powers and you can hold them with these three things in your hand. So that's what I did. I frantically started looking for knowledge. That's why I started going to all these courses. These courses were not cheap. Like, they were expensive courses. That's where you get real knowledge, like where they actually open doors to what these other people who've made it successfully are doing. To get a mentor in today's world is not cheap. Let's be honest.
No. But it's the best thing you could do for yourself is to invest
Right.
in
To
somebody who
invest.
will personally teach you the ropes.
Yeah, because your skill set is everything at the end of the day. Your energy, your skill set, your mindset, and your health. If you have all these three, four things, you've almost aced your life.
Yeah. And I also want to go back to when you were in India and you said your experience with building a business from the ground up was worth more than an MBA degree. And I also agree with that because experience is the best teacher. You won't learn anywhere as fast in theory than if you go and do hands-on approach and actually experience success and failure and figure it all out.
That's so true. And if it wasn't for all these experiences, I would not be so comfortable today with being an entrepreneur, not worried about having a 9 to 5 ever again in my life. The businesses I've built, I never want have to go back, or I don't want to, but now I've put in myself in a position where I don't even need to, which is the most powerful thing. And then because I had so much going on and so much of experience and knowledge and the way I could present myself, at the end, what happened was just recently, last year, I stumbled upon a company which is through a family friend, and they are very big in the company, and the owner and the founder, he's huge in changing the world, the way the world uses plastic.
Mm.
So we're redefining the way plastic is used in healthcare to begin with. So the pharmacy vials, the sharps container, the urine containers, the plungers, and the syringes, and everything is going to be now through our company going to be built from cornmeal. So everything is
Wow.
manufactured from cornmeal. So when you throw things out, they're not going to stay on earth for thousands of years, or like 100 of years, because plastic takes about 100, 200 years to disintegrate, right? This will disintegrate and become a part of earth in 6 weeks, and we have FDA
Wow.
approvals. We have it's so powerful. We have all the requirements that is needed for a patent. So it's a patented product. We have 6 patented products. And now that project, my dad has taken up because of what got presented to us together, and he is implementing the whole project on production side, because my dad has been in production for about 35 years now.
Oh, wow. Wow, that is so amazing. I mean, I think almost everybody is aware of all the pollution and waste that goes on in the world, and a lot of it is with plastic. Like recently, New York actually had put in a ban on plastic bags, which is a good first step. Um, Earlier, I think maybe a couple of years ago, they banned styrofoam. Now they're banning plastic bags. So obviously, it's a small drop in the bucket over here, but I think it's still getting the general idea to the population, and we're aware that there's so much plastic forks and utensils that we use, plastic packaging for food, and all of that is replaceable. So it just takes time. But in terms of healthcare, I don't think a lot of people realize how much waste goes on unless they are in healthcare. And also, they don't really think about doing it a different way because, we're so concerned with saving patients and improving healthcare that the last thing on our mind is like also caring for the planet at the same time. But
That's
this
so
is
true.
this is very actually smart and cost effective to do something like this, because you're showing you care about the people and also the future generations of people to come. The health of the planet is very much intertwined with the health of ourselves and our individual health. So this is like looking at the big picture, and I really love that. So congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm so blessed to be a part of this project. It's called Innovative Bottles, and just recently we signed a contract with CBS News and BBC to have a documentary being aired. So we'll be all over the news next year with our little documentary that the way the company is going to be laid out and how everything is going to be produced here in America. We are actually putting up a plant next month in Reno, Nevada.
Wow, amazing. Yeah, that's even more good news and jobs for people. So that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, I'm excited about
yeah,
this.
I'm really hoping it extends to other fields of healthcare because it sounds like it's very much focused in pharmacy. So I hope it like has other products being developed for other uses in hospitals and things like that.
Yeah, that's the future. That's definitely the future. But right now, we're starting from a patient enters the hospital to leaving to the pharmacies. Our goal to go through that circle and find out every single plastic item that we can replace.
That's amazing. So, wow. So you definitely are a serial entrepreneur. You have like 4 or 5 businesses running up and running right now. So what is your goal, in the near future or maybe in the distant future? Do you hope to have just keep building multiple streams of income, or do you hope to combine it all in just like one single vision? What do you think?
It's so hard to have one vision when you have so many passion uh, projects going on. So honestly, my big goal is to do good for the mother nature, give back to the community big time, and just keep changing lives. Like even when I was at the pharmacy, like little things that I would do for my patients, it would touch their hearts. But now I actually get to change their lives like completely on a different level,
Yeah.
which is what I'm very passionate about, because my finance clients, they just love the type of investment vehicles that I offer. And then my holistic pharmacy clients, the functional medicine clients that I take up personally, they get health goals done, but then I'm able to integrate some finance with that too. And then it's like, it's hard because I'm able to offer so much that, like, I'm also a business coach. So sometimes after everything's done, like they convert into a business client where they want to do something on the business front with me. So it's just like always something or the other from one or the other client getting overlapped. And I just get to do so much. And I don't know if I can really do one vision, but my big vision is to, honestly, I want to declare that my big vision is to create 100 millionaires, at least in this lifetime. That's like a small vision right now, but that's to start with.
Wow. Okay, that's a good and accountable goal that you could quantify. So that's really good. I have to ask you, so besides your, official schooling and courses that you've taken, did you also invest in private coaching for yourself? Because it seems like you just have such clear, visions and ways that things happen. Or was it all just the power of networking and meeting the right people?
Honestly, I did not get a chance to do private coaching because I was doing so much that I could never set aside that time. But the people I learned from are so successful, so powerful. Even if there's like thousands of people in the room, I always assume they're talking to me. And then these powerful coaches that I have, I made sure that they know me. So next time, like they see me, they recognize my face out of thousands of people that they meet. So I did not get that chance, but I kind of converted what I had on hand to a private coaching. Like even in the mornings, you hear me listening to some of the top personalities that I follow. Like I love following Gary Vee for my social media, and then Simon Sinek for how to be a leader and how to be holistic in your leadership. Tony Robbins, Ed Milet. I'm always listening to somebody in my day. I spend some time. So I think I take that as private coaching, because whatever they tell me, I'm like taking it very personally. I'm like, I gotta do this. I gotta implement this. So I guess that's where my private coaching comes from. But maybe in future I will. I just don't know if I have the time right now with everything going on.
Yeah, you're a very busy woman. But
yeah, but not busy to be just busy. I'm actually doing something that I feel very fulfilled with.
absolutely. Yeah. And, all the best coaching in the world, it's worth nothing unless you actually implement what
Implement
they're
it.
saying. So it sounds like you're doing all of that. So congratulations.
Yeah, I wanted to thank you so much. I wanted to really tell my viewers, like whoever listens to this podcast, if you really want to be entrepreneur or looking to have freedom, this is the book to read, The 4-Hour Work Week. And I swear by it because that's the lifestyle I want to create for myself. So I'm in the process of it. But it is hands down one of my favorite entrepreneurial book.
Yeah, absolutely. I've read it too. Okay, so we just have a few minutes left. Would you mind going into a rapid fire round?
Sure, let's do it. It's
Okay.
fun, right?
Yeah, it's really fun. So what's your number one advice to listeners that want to improve their quality of life right now?
If you want to improve your quality of life, I say that write down your goals and really write them down and look at them every day. Let it be 5 goals, but if you don't write them down, I have noticed that everything gets jumbled and, like your brain cannot be your book for writing stuff. So focus on that, and commitment is Like, it's just like, you have to make sure that you stay committed to it. Just one bad day or one day of falling out of something should not be a whole week or a month of like that. So get back in that track again. And consistency is the key. Like, cannot stress on commitment and consistency, because there's no secret to success. It's just two things.
Wow. Yeah, those are wonderful, and implementable ideas and really good advice. So next question, I don't know if you have the time for it, but what's your favorite thing to do for fun?
Oh, I have time for it. I actually have. My favorite thing is going for hikes, and I go for hikes almost every other day. So California is so pretty, and we have all these hikes and mountains and nature. So my favorite thing is spending time in nature, and I absolutely do it. So that's what I love about my lifestyle. Every day I can make time for that.
Awesome. Well, my little thing, my little son came to join us for the last question. What's your favorite beverage to drink?
Favorite beverage to drink. Can smoothie count in that?
Sure, it has liquid.
Okay. So it's like my fix for the day. Like, every morning, I make this dark chocolate smoothie with this raw cacao and banana and peanut butter and some greens in it. And that's my favorite drink to drink.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. I also will share all your social media links and any other link on the show notes. My son is demanding attention, so thank you so
it's
much.
okay, but thank you so
coming
much.
on. It was such a blast, and I hope to connect to you soon.
Yes, we'll speak to you soon.
All right.
All right. Take care, dear. Bye.
Say bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Raw Fork podcast, and I truly hope that you enjoyed it and learned something from it. If you did enjoy it, please don't hesitate to leave us a 5-star rating and a short, sweet review so that other listeners can find us across podcast platforms. To get in touch with me, you can go to rawfork.com or email me directly at marina@rawfork.com. Thank you, and I hope to see you back here next week.